What is 0 raised to the power of 0? Let's think about 0 raised to other powers. 0 to the third power is 0, 0 to the second power is 0, and 0 to the first power is also 0. If we follow the positive exponents, it seems like 0 raised to the power of 0 should be 0. But 0 to the negative first power is 1 over 0, which is undefined, and same with 0 to the negative 2 power. But the negative exponents imply 0 raised to the power of 0 should be undefined. Let's attack this from a different angle. Other numbers raised to 0 equal 1. This pattern implies that 0 raised to 0 should also be 1. So it seems like there isn't really a single correct answer. Which is true. But depending on the context you're working in, one answer may be better than the others. The best definition should be consistent, reduce needless complexity, and be useful. Most mathematicians agree that in many cases, 1 is the best definition. Let's look at 2 reasons for this. A raised to b can be viewed as the number of sets of b elements that can be chosen from a set of a elements. For example, 2 to the first power can be viewed as the number of sets of one element that can be chosen from a set of 2 elements. Then 0 raised to the power of 0 is the number of sets of 0 elements that can be chosen from a set of 0 elements, which must be 1. So 1 is the only definition consistent with this interpretation of exponentiation. In this context, any other definition would needlessly complicate things. For another case where 1 is a useful definition, let's look at the binomial theorem. When x equals 0, this simplifies to 1 equals 0 raised to the power of 0 times 1. In this case, the only definition that makes the binomial theorem true is 1. Again, 1 is the only definition that avoids needless complexity. However, depending on the type of math you're doing, 1 may not always be the best definition. For example, let's look at some limits. The limit of a function at point A is the value the function approaches as its input approaches A. We're interested in limits of the form 0 raised to 0 when x equals 0. A simple one is the limit of x raised to the power of 0 as x approaches 0. Since x raised to 0 is 1 at all other points, its limit at 0 is 1 as well. This seems to confirm that 0 raised to 0 is 1, but there are other limits of the same form with different values. The limit of 0 raised to x from the right is 0, and from the left it's undefined. And other limits of the form 0 raised to 0 can be any value, like this one, which is e. These conflicts are good reasons to call 0 raised to 0 an indeterminate form, or undefined, when you're dealing with limits. These are the only definitions that are consistent with the way we define limits. So what is 0 raised to 0? It depends. Often 1 is the best answer. But when dealing with limits, undefined or indeterminate form is more sensible. Depending on the type of math you're doing, even definitions and conventions can change. Find the answers to more questions like this at Brilliant.org.